Hey guys, it's Amy at Zoe Beck, and I'm going to do my weekly reading update for October 21st, 2018. So, okay, so, again, my reading is not going that well for this month, and again, I'm not going to quite say I'm reading slump like that. I'm still reading, but just not as much as I'd like, and I'm also reverting to rereading, which is fine, because I love to reread. Just isn't what I planned for October, which is supposed to be all Victober reads, or Victorian literature, and it just hasn't worked out for me that way. So I'm just going to kind of go through what I did read, and then what I didn't read, and then I'm going to kind of go through what I possibly could read in the next week, because I have no idea. So just to recap, on I believe Sunday and Monday I finished up reading Ocean Light. It was a reread for me by Lynn Nillingy Singh. Again, this is book like 17 or 18 in the Side Changeling series. It's in the second part, the Side Changeling Trinity series. So I love this. Again, there's no way for me to talk about it, but it's a paranormal romance with psychics and changelings and humans all vying for power in the world. And then again, these are all paranormal romances, so they're stories about people who meet who are different, and and it's action, and there's stuff in here. It's just fun. It's great fun. Again, I love Nillingy Singh, and this is one of my favorite series. So I reread the book. This came out in June. I reread it, so now I'll probably reread it when the paperback comes out, because of course that's ordered. Because I always buy them this is like the only ones I buy Kindle release. If instead of getting a hardback, I'll actually buy a Kindle version, and then I'll buy a paperback version. So I technically pay for a hardback, but I don't want the hardback. I want a paperback. So anyway, sorry. Anyway, so I really enjoyed that, and I was really glad I did read that. That was nice palate cleanser kind of thing. So I'm glad I did that. So after that, I did have a video on Monday saying how I changed my mind on certain things. As a recap, I have DNF'd Malice by John Gwynne. This is the first book in The Faithful and the Fallen. I really wanted to like this book. I really wanted to enjoy this, and I did not. If you saw my wrap up from last week, I pretty much explained that it's mostly because there's too many male perspectives. There's not enough female characters, let alone perspectives, because there's only one perspective, and there's a few more females than maybe I mentioned in the video. There was at least one that I totally missed, that she's a cool character too, but there's only so many. There's still only a handful of women in a world where men are dominant, and I just got me angry. And mostly, I actually saw somebody else's take on this. Mel at Mel's Bookland Adventures talked about how the chapters were too short, and so you're going back and forth, and I totally agree. That was a stylistic thing that I did not enjoy. I like short chapters sometimes if they're done correctly, but when you're jumping perspective to so many perspectives so quickly, it doesn't work for me throughout a whole book. Like when you're getting close to the end, it makes more thematical sense to, do that, because it makes it speed up the reading. But it was the whole way through like that, and it was really kind of hard to read that, because you wouldn't only get a few pages on one guy, and then you'd go to another one, and I don't know, you're going back and forth sometimes, between them, and if it was a related issue, I would kind of make sense, but it just didn't. So anyway, I'm 200 pages from the end, and I just officially DNF'd this. I just did not enjoy it enough to continue, and I'm sad, because I wanted to like that series, because I have heard other people really like it, and I know a lot of people are reading it right now for the read-along, but it was not a book for me. I don't think it was, I think it was because most of the men were very young, and they were too young for me. Just how they were reacting to things, and it drove me crazy. So anyway, so that book is gone. So I got lucky in my library. My library book came in for Murder in the Dark by Simon R. Green. This is number 6 in the Ishmael Jones series. I just love this series. He and his partner Penny, they are just hilarious. They're just, the banter is hilarious. And again, it gets serious because it's, an urban fantasy, and it does get, there's people dying and stuff. And it's a really short book. It's number 6 in the series. So, I don't want to say what actually happens, but it's always him and going to some place. Usually it's like it's in the English countryside usually somewhere, and something weird is going on, and he is sent in to, you know, to figure out what is happening. So, what was I just saying? Sorry, my brain just like, my glare on my glasses is driving me crazy today. I don't know. I tried to change the chair like position. I think I've moved it too far. Oh well, sorry guys. So anyway, but this was just so much fun. It was really light. Hey! That's my cat, sorry. Stop it. Oh, scratching on my chair. Of course, because I'm filming. Anyway, so I really enjoy these. Again, Simon R. Green's one of my favorite urban fantasy authors. I love all his books. I need to read more of his the Druid series. That's the only one I have not really. I've read the first book and I've never continued, and I don't know why. I think it's because they're like 400 pages books, and all of his other ones are like, you know, 200. It's 200 to 250, and they're just so different formatted, you know. Anyway, but I really enjoyed that, and I'm so glad I got to read that, and I can't wait to get my own copy of it, because I'll wait till it comes out in paperback, which will probably be a year from now or two, because the hardbacks are they're like $30 for that little thing, and I'm like, no, I'm waiting for paperback. They're expensive too, but not that expensive. So then after that, I picked up the graphic novel Here by Richard McGuire. Again, I saw this on Amy Poole's channel, and it's very interesting. So it's like this part of the living room is pretty much showed in every picture, but it's like there's parts where it's from a different time period. So they have like different time here, and it just goes through from, I mean, it starts when somebody takes it over in 2014, and then it kind of like all the way through it changes, like it's either way far in the past or a little bit into the future or way into the future, or from the 1900s all the way through like the 1930s, 50s, 60s. You know, it's very interesting. It was a very quick read. I mean, I didn't spend a whole lot of time on it. One evening I just read it. So it was really fun, and I'm really glad I read it, because it was a different concept. I had never seen that before, where it's stationary, but you see how the time changes because of the decor, or it wasn't there. It was farmland, or, you know, a swamp or something. So I really like this. So if you're looking for a quick graphic novel, I would recommend this, because it was just fun. It's just different. It was a different way of looking at a space, and then the people that go in and out of it, and it was interesting. So okay, so here's where the reading slump continues, or I'm having trouble. So I went back and tried to read Tenant of Wellfell Hall, and again, I had talked about this last week on chapter 14. So I don't want to go too much into this, because it'll become a rant. So I don't know what to do about this. So again, I've heard so many people like this book, and I really liked Agnes Grey. So I really wanted to love this book. And again, I've been looking forward to this book all year. But chapter 14, The Assault, is where I don't know what to do. So again, I'm gonna say this has the same issue I have as with Malice, is it's a male perspective that I feel is young, even though he's really not. He's like in his late 20s. But the guy does something that is so stupid. And yes, I understand you're heartbroken, or you think you are, or whatever, but he, you know, the assault, I mean, that kind of says he does something to somebody else. And, I don't want to follow a character who does this. This is stupid. And there's no justification. He's upset me. So, I don't know why everybody gets past this. I can't get past this. So, I don't know what I'm going to do. I mean, I tried to skim ahead. And again, I could go in, I've been thinking about doing a video about that, because just as sometimes I do that, I've done that since I was a kid, you know, skim to make sure my character is okay in the next couple of pages, then I go back and read it. And I know I do that, and I try not to do it. And that was the only good thing about Kindle or ebooks, is that I don't do it as much, because I can't get off that page, you know. But I have a tendency to scan ahead. And this one, I even tried to scan ahead like a chapter, and it just got worse to me. It just, I can't connect with this character, and I don't understand how other people got past it. So I'm a little confused. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do about this. Right now I'm setting it aside. I might have to put it aside and try to read it another time. And just because right now my tolerance level for idiot men is not working out very well. And I don't mean idiot men in like real life. I'm talking about in books. Anyway, it just drive me crazy. So I did also try to... So then I thought, okay, well, maybe it's just that Victorian read. Maybe I'll pick up another book and maybe it'll all go well. So I picked up Far from the Madding Crowd by Thomas Hardy. I have never read any Thomas Hardy. I read like a section of Tess of the D'Urbervilles in college, but not the whole book. So I've never read that either. But I heard so really good things about this. So don't worry, I'm not going to say anything bad yet about this. I only got about 32 pages in. And I've decided it's just not the time for me to read this. I'm not saying he's done anything stupid, because so far I like the main character, or the guy they're following at this point, and I may think he's things a little differently than I would too, but that's not a problem for me. So far he's not done anything super stupid. Anyway, that's not really so. Anyway, I decided that I think me and Victober have to part ways at this point. I love Victorian literature, and I do want to read all these books because I still have my audiobook, Sherlock Holmes, which I have not gotten back to. This week just didn't work out. And then I had all these books that I was going to read for Victober that are on my TBR, but I've decided that's not going to happen. So Thomas Hardy is going to go back on the shelf. I'm not marking it as anything. It's probably still on my currently reading right now. I'll probably push it back to want to read and get back to it some other time. Hopefully before Victober of next year. I'm hoping that I'll pick these up and I'll want to read them at some other point. But my tolerance for certain things is pretty much gone. So, and especially when it bugs me. I don't understand that chapter 14 in Tenant of Walva Hall. I just can't get past it. Anyway, so I just don't know how to, I tried to push through it. I did try to skim ahead but it just got worse for me. I don't know. So we'll see. I don't know. I'm really disappointed because I really liked the way the book was going in the beginning and how it was written. But I was kind of worried after the chapter before 14, but I don't know. So, on Harding, I read that, I think I read that like Thursday, and then I was like, well, I don't know if this is working out for me. So I thought, well, let me just reread something so that I'm reading, and I didn't really know what to pick up because I was kind of, as I said, I'm all over the place. So I did go back and read The Seduction of Eliot McBride by Jennifer Ashley. This is book 5. It might be 5. Book 5 and the Mackenzie McBride series, historical romance series that she has. I love these books. Again, the first 4 are awesome. The Madness of Lord Ian Mackenzie is one of my favorite books of all time. This is really close. This is just a fun book. I enjoyed this a lot. Again, it's Highlanders, and it actually deals with PTSD from an incident that happened in India. So it's like 1890s or something. I really, again, I just read it for fun, and it's a reread for sure. This is one of those series that I've read 6 books, and then I have the next 2 or 3 that I haven't read yet because I just stopped reading them after all. I kept collecting, but I hadn't got back to it. So I'm kind of thinking I might go on and read some of these in this series just because they're lighter for my brain right now. I do have a couple of books on my Kindle that are like 0.7, 0.5, like 0.5. So I might read a couple of the novellas that came with this series as well, and then dive into the books, or maybe I'll get out of it and pick something else. Because I found that I was trying to find other things that I had open, or that that I also might pick up. So I did, I almost did this, is I almost picked up a couple of Little Black Classics that were all Victorian writers. there is Emily Bronte and Oscar Wilde and Elizabeth Gaskell, Rudyard Kipling, I can't say his name, Robert Louis Stevenson, and Thomas Hardy. And I thought, oh, I have these all black classics. Maybe I'll read some of these. But as I said, I think my Victober is done. So, but if I feel like I need to read something small, I can pick those up. I do have another Victorian read that I need to catch up on, which is Bleak House. And so I'm like, I think I'm 4 or 5 sections behind, or, you know, months behind on this. So I really could go and read this, but again, it's Victorian literature. I was really enjoying Dickens, don't get me wrong. That Bleak House was getting interesting, and I'm doing the read along with Katie at Books and Things, the 18 months serial reading that. So I'm still working on that. I did still have The Little Stranger by Sarah Waters, which I had put down because that main character was doing something stupid too. I don't know if he actually does it because I didn't scan ahead, so we'll have to see about that. So I'm kind of on the fence on that one. I also, sorry, I'm hoping to reach. I also still have Three Musketeers to read this year. I'm still only 170 pages in, and it's 600 something. So I could pick up that. I don't know. So, I mean, that again I should like, but again, that's the same kind of time period, or not time period. It was written in the same time period, but it's from an earlier time. So, historical fiction, anyway, but it's a classic. And then I did see on somebody's channel, I can't remember now, I was reading Lock and Key, and I've had this on my shelf forever. Joe Hill and Gabriel Rodriguez. So I just had the first volume, and I've never read it. I had it forever. So I'll probably pick up this sometime this week just for a spooky read thing. I don't know anything about those. It's been that long. It says Welcome to Lovecraft, so I'm guessing it's Lovecraftian. I also am thinking about rereading of maybe picking back up Just One Damn Thing After Another by Jodi Taylor so I can continue this series. But I don't know. I mean, like I said, I keep hitting the tripod. But I don't have any idea what I'm going to read. So I could go into anything at this point. Like, I don't know what I'm going to pick up later this afternoon because I have to do some things. Like, I have to do cooking. I have to make chili because we're having a chili cook-off. And next week on Halloween. And the last time I failed miserably. Anyway, so I got a recipe from my cousin, or my aunt, who got it from her cousin. So I'm gonna try to make that today and see how that goes. So I don't know how much reading I'm gonna get done today. Anyway, I mean, it's a crock pot thing, but I still have to do it. Anyway, so we'll see what happens. So I have no idea what I'm gonna read this week. As I said, all those options could be anything. Could be none of those. I could come in here. I rearranged and moved some books around in my office and cleaned my office. If you saw that video, that was a big deal for me because now my office is clean again for the most part. And then I might come in here and pick something or off of my to be read shelf or I don't know. I have no idea what I'm going to do. Okay, so I've talked way too long on this video. Anyway, so, hey, what are you guys doing? How are you guys reading? What do you guys do when you go into kind of a reading slip or everything is annoying you? Do you do what I do and start picking up rereads? Let me know what you do. So I will talk to you guys later. Bye.